Hello, my loves. How are you doing? Happy full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. And I'm going to talk about some other details because this week is very intense. And I'm going to be honest, this is one of those days, any of you that are entrepreneurs that work for yourself must know this territory very well. When you have things on the calendar that you're planning on doing for your business, and then the emotions of the day or yourself, like it doesn't even have to be anything big happening, comes, or maybe it's just me because I'm so sensitive to all the energies. But there's a moment that arises that you're like, but I don't really have it to give right now. So full transparency, it's one of those days, but I'm showing up anyways because I care about witness, reflection. I care about showing up for the community, showing up for myself and my work. But it's also in these times that feel kind of dark and topsy-turvy, and we don't know where we're going, which is eclipse season in general. We need each other and we need to show up anyway so that the kind of, I don't know what, it's like the messages can still kind of get through. And we're about to have a Mercury retrograde tomorrow too. So it is just kind of a mess of a week, to be honest. And, but like I'm a fan of saying, everything's happening to us, not for us. So today's the 13th, lunar eclipse, full moon, lunar eclipse Virgo. And Sunday we had a time change anyway. So what would that be? On the 9th to 10th. And that in general, like, why are we still doing that? That in general feels like the rug's being pulled out from underneath you. And there's always this disorientation, the disorienting feeling the next week where it's like, I'll wake up super early one day, it doesn't even make sense. And then today I didn't want to get out of bed at all. It's like that kind of thing. It's like we have to go through this kind of wave to collect ourselves again. So we already have Venus retrograde. That's been for a couple weeks. What was even the day? Yeah, March 1st. So we've already been in it for 13 days, like nearly half of the month. So that is a review of the feminine principles. That is all the things that we are reviewing, all the ways that the feminine has been left out. So we're reviewing all of that from Aries to Pisces, so beginning to end. And then we've got the eclipse, which already is like a consciousness reboot and upgrade, and they always come in pairs or sometimes three. So we've got it in pairs this time. So the new moon in 2 weeks in Aries will be a solar eclipse. And those are always this period of like lights on, lights off. Really, really intense energies. It's like we have to see all the rats in the corner. Virgo's here for us to help us like clean up the mess that's here, all the stuff that we've not attended to. And then we'll have a new moon solar eclipse in Aries on, I don't even remember what day it is, but it's in 2 weeks. So it's coming. Yeah, April 12th. No, March 29. And then we'll have a full moon in Libra on April 12th. So it's a lot of energy going on right now. And then, so Venus is already retrograde. Mercury is going to go retrograde tomorrow, the 14th. However, Mercury has a 2-week setup phase and a 2-week integration phase. So we've already been in it for 2 weeks. Mercury would have gone in the shadow literally on the same day that Venus went retrograde. And the two of those going back over the Aries point, the beginning of Aries and end of Pisces, is kind of a death and rebirth anyways. We're in that energy the whole year. The whole 2025 is like a defibrillator. It's like a complete reboot of human consciousness, of what we're doing collectively, of all of it. And so there's a death, a dissolving, end degrees of Pisces, delusion, escapism, not seeing clearly, rose-colored glasses, but also reunifying with spirit and dissolving back into oneness, like higher divine love. So it's dreaming a new dream and becoming something different. So we're doing that on an individual and collective level, and the astrology is just mapping out the whole thing for us. So as soon as Mercury goes retrograde, and like I said, it's like, yes, it's happening on the day, but the energy is variant, so we're already in it. Venus and Mercury are going to pair up together, and then they're going to go retrograde back into Pisces together. And so to me, I'm seeing that as a review of the feminine voice. So Venus is about wealth and worth and value and tending to the deepest roots of your body. It's like the minerals in the soul, the nourishment that we all need. And are we being nourished in the way that we need to be? Are we nourishing ourselves? Are we nourishing others? Are we nourishing our work? And are we nourishing our connection with the planet and the elements and all of that? So that's up for question. And then when you add Mercury, you're talking about voice and connection and sharing language, which I think is also another reason why I'm just not feeling it today. I'm a Virgo anyway, so anyone that has a Mercury ruled sign, so Gemini or Virgo, and then if you have a Venus ruled sign, and this could be sun, moon, rising, whatever, it can be all the places. Those are the three big ones. In Taurus or Libra, those are ruled by Venus. So you're going to feel this more, and you can also look at those placements in your chart and see what's going on. I go into way more depth about the eclipse in general in the moon ceremony that's in my shop. Those show up in my shop on my website a couple days before the moon cycles. At the full and new moon, I do them twice a month. Then, so after Mercury retrograde on the 14th, then next week on the 20th, the sun moves into Aries. So we start the new astrological year with Aries, that fiery, brave, courageous sign that just is going to rip the Band-Aid off and start, right? So think of the sun just coming in and brightening everything up to give us a vision of what's coming forward. That's the same day as the equinox, and I am doing an event in Bend, Oregon in person, but also online. So if you want to grab that, that's under the events tab on my website, the spring equinox event, and that'll be 2 hours. So that'll be on Zoom. We're going to be talking about that because the equinox is sandwiched between all of this energy. It's just bananas. And then, so Venus is going to make its way back into Aries on the 27th. Mercury will join, or did I say Aries? Venus is going to retrograde back from Aries to Pisces. So it's going to arrive in Pisces on the 27th. Mercury will join on the 29th. And then Neptune will do the exact opposite because Neptune is at the end degrees of Pisces right now. It will move into Aries on April 30th. So Venus and Mercury going back into Pisces, Neptune going forward into Aries, and so they're trading places. Well, Neptune creates, it rules Pisces, and it creates foggy vision, inability to see things, right? And the solar eclipse that we're going to have on, what was the day that I said? This is the way that I can't get the language out also is 100% eclipse. It's 100% Neptune at the end degrees of Pisces. It's you just can't get the words out. You can't formulate things. And then Mercury going into retrograde too. It's you don't have your mental faculties. March 29th is that solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse that we're having today is lights all the way on. Everyone can see, you can see the rats in the corner, everything that's out of order. And then the solar eclipse that's coming, that is lights going all the way off. Then you're walking in the dark and you can't see where you're going. Then you also have Neptune affecting Aries, the first degrees of Aries, the start of the, astrological year and the wheel. And there's this fogginess with Neptune there, like, huh, where are we going? What's the direction? What's happening? And eclipse season in general, I call it like white knuckle time, because we just don't know what we're doing. Even if you have like a clear sense of where you're going, something comes to like fog it all up with the lights going on and off, where you can't see clearly where you're going. So that's why I call it white knuckly, because it almost feels like the nervous system is kind of shaky. And so the confidence that you have in the regular general day-to-day kind of disappears, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Like like you lose your kind of professional faculties or your sense of yourself. It's really bizarre. And it's hard to even talk about. Like, I can't even get the words out, but it's important to talk about, because I want you to know that you're not crazy and that you're not alone, because it's bonkers. And then I'm thinking, is there anything else? So we've got we've got the equinox, we've got 2 eclipses, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, and then Mercury will arrive back in Aries. Because what's really beautiful about this too is Venus went retrograde before Mercury and will go direct after. So it's like Venus, the mother, is giving us a hug. It's like holding the whole space of our communication and language and how we share information and ideas with people, and saying, sweetheart, calm down, reset, reassess, let the tide go out. Like, one of my friends and teachers is always saying, do nothing and nothing will be left undone. It's like the time to not get things done, which is why I even hesitated to record this video, because I feel like I don't even want to work today. It's like senioritis time. I just don't even want to do anything of like production and value. It's just the weirdest energy. So Mercury will go back into Aries on April 15th. So it will arrive first, and then Venus will arrive on the 30th of April. So Venus is asking us to, like, where have we left out the feminine voice? And, where have we not been in service or spoken up for the feminine? Where have we not included her? And remember, Mars is direct now in Cancer, which is kind of associated with the mother as well. It's ruled by the moon. And so it's that sensitive, tender part of ourselves. And so Mars is over there going forward again, reclaiming and reintegrating all those emotional, sensitive parts. There's that way that, I'll speak in terms of gender, but it's energy as well. Like, women can want a sensitive man, but if they actually got one, they wouldn't know what to do with it, because it's not modeled for us in society. And so then, maybe a man is trying to communicate those sensitivities, and it's expressing, and then we don't even know how to hold space for it. And maybe they don't know how to hold space for themselves, But this is also energetic. And so this exchange of like, who's in control, right? We've been living in a patriarchal society for thousands of years, and it completely devoids the feminine, doesn't value it at all. And this whole defibrillator that's coming in right now is a rebalancing of that. Like, we have to, get right with Jesus, so to speak. Like, we have to rebalance the masculine, feminine within ourselves, and come to terms with all of that. Like, we have to come to terms with where the masculine in us has not been allowed to incorporate the feminine. And we have to come to terms with the feminine part of us that has not been allowed to serve or come forward or share her ideas, because she has been devalued and, denounced and put in the corner or put in the closet and said, you're not valuable, you don't matter. Like, your only purpose is to have babies and to tend to the family and, not be out in the world, even though we've pushed against that, but it's still pretty out of balance. And so we have to come back into balance within ourselves. So I think I'm going to end there. Like, I feel like I'm not making any sense, but at the same time, it felt important to honor the energy as it is, and just to know that if things don't make sense right now, they're not supposed to make sense right now. And let me double check this, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so the next solar eclipse, so Mercury will go direct, we'll have the eclipse, and the equinox comes before that. So Venus is going to go direct the day after the solar eclipse. So she's kind of holding space. The mother, the divine feminine, is holding space for all of this transformation. And then, you know, once those both go back direct, then we're going to have a Pluto retrograde in May. So we're going to have a little bit of a reprieve. April will be like integration time, and then Pluto goes retrograde in May. So this first retrograde of Venus, Mercury going back are the two planets that are going over the Aries, Pisces to Aries again, like going back in, getting the information from Pisces, all the other planets that were still there, the dissolving that they've done, getting that information, bringing it forward, applying it forward to what it is that we're doing. And then Pluto is going to retrograde, and then it's Neptune and Saturn that are going to retrograde again, not again, but they're going to retrograde also back and forth over that Aries Pisces point in July. So Neptune goes retrograde July 4, Saturn July 12. So I don't want to get too far into that. I wanted to keep this as much as I can, like, you know, close at hand to what we're dealing with today, March 13, March 14, next week with the equinox on the 20th. Venus back in Aries on the 27th, Mercury, or back in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces on the 29th, Neptune in Aries on the 30th. So you see there's this whole, like, I can't even keep track of it because it's like this, like we're changing, we're, you know, we're dying and being reborn. It's the beginning of it this year of like really getting clear with ourselves about what is dissolving. Like what is it? Let me be more clear. What is it that we don't want to take forward with us? Okay. If there's something to get clear about right now, it's that. What do you not want to take forward with you so that you can leave it where it is, take it to Goodwill, do whatever it is, and then when you move forward, you're taking things that are of value, of reverence. And Venus is talking about, you know, worth and value that we innately already are because she has given it to us, but also the things that we possess. The money, the riches, the value, the friendships, the opportunities, the work, the community, the connections. Like, we have to revalue all of that. What is it that we actually value? And are we giving reverence to what it is that we love and that we've been given already? Are we giving gratitude to that at all, right? That's the general gist. So moon ceremony's in the shop. Equinox event is on the 20th. You can still sign up for that, like all the way up until next Wednesday, the 19th. The event is from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific. And that'll be recorded if you can't make it in person. And then we'll have another moon ceremony for the new moon in Aries solar eclipse. And that'll be in my shop a couple days before too. So, all right, good luck. It's white knuckle it time. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what's coming up for you, because I'm sure it's of a version of gnarly and not being able to see what you're doing, or also being horrified at like all the things that you should have honored and given reverence to that you didn't. And oftentimes we don't even see what those are until it's gonna, you know, dissolve on us and disappear. So anyways, all right, love you. See you where I see you.